waving until it goes live.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
What's going on?
To a brand new episode of the Opinion City Podcast. I'm King Ralphie's Parmesan. We are your hosts. We've got a great episode coming up today.
Yes,
we
we
are
do.
super pumped. We had a scheduled guest, but as things tend to happen sometimes, you have to make changes. But boy, did we make a
change.
Man, did we
also, just to note, we're together.
Yes,
We're not
that's right.
separate. We're together.
We're in the same screen. In case that's throwing you off, yes, we're in the same
together.
place together. But
Yes.
yes, so we've got a huge guest today, Sean.
Huge
Who do we have today?
The Notorious Mimi.
Yes, exciting.
Super excited.
We've been trying to get her on the show for a while, and
she has just a busy schedule.
yes, but we are super excited. And what do we have for top 5 this
Top
week?
5 favorite albums.
Oh, exciting. That's
Yay.
we always love the non-wrestling top
Yes,
5s,
always,
especially
always
music.
fun. Always fun.
All right, well, seems to me it's about time to get this party started.
sir.
So episode 91 starts
Right
now.
All right.
Well, we are back, and look who it is.
We are here with the Notorious Mimi herself.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to Bell to Bell month. How are you?
I am great. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm pumped to do this.
Oh,
Yes,
listen,
we're super pumped to
excited.
have you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Super pumped to have you.
All right, so I can't imagine that there is any single person out there who could be watching this, could ever watch this, or could ever see this that doesn't know who Notorious Mimi is, especially with things like the Monster Factory
Yep.
TV show and
Mhm.
just everything that you've done so far. But for those who may have either just been born or living under a rock, who is Notorious Mimi?
I just want you all to know that I don't expect you to know who I am. I promise.
I don't feel like
but-
that.
No.
As
No.
seen on Monster Factory's Apple TV show as Amelia Her, also formerly Sloane Jacobs on NXT, and
Mhm.
all over on the Independents as the Notorious Mimi. You can catch me wherever.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Now, so let's go right down into it, right into Bell to Bell. When and how did you discover the Monster Factory, and by proxy, Bell to Bell?
So we'll go all the way back to when I
All the way
started
back.
wrestling,
Let's
because
go all the way back.
it kind of all balances out. I didn't start watching wrestling until 2016.
Okay.
My sister found wrestling on YouTube, thought Roman Reigns was really hot, showed it to me because of that, and I was like,
Right.
yeah, that's cool and whatever. But the girlies do this, so that was what really got me into it. I always credit like the WrestleMania 32 triple threat women's match, Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky, as
Yeah.
like what
Mhm.
made me want to be a wrestler.
Mhm.
And then not long after that, I asked my parents if I could sign up for like a youth clinic, because at this time I was 14, I want to say. So
Mhm.
I did
Wow.
a couple youth clinic camps at a place called IWF in North Jersey.
Mhm.
But then they had shut down and I didn't know where I'd be able to go. You know, I kind of thought, because you can't wrestle under 18 in Pennsylvania, I was like,
Right.
Mhm.
oh, I'm just going to be stuck waiting for a while. But
Mhm.
I saw an ad for a Monster Factory open house and I was like, well, worth a shot. It's in New Jersey.
Right.
Sure.
So I went to the open house and I talked to Dan, and it was just like a really good environment and they were open to have me starting. So I started like right before I turned 15 at the Monster Factory.
That's crazy.
So it's
Yeah.
been a minute. That was in 2017. I've been around for a while now. And then Missy Sampson came on as a coach, I want to say in 2020, maybe 2021.
Mhm.
We'd met a few times before she started coaching, but of course, you know, it was really exciting to have a female coach at the Monster Factory. It was
Mhm.
really exciting to have someone who has like so many connections and so many great stories from their time on the indies.
Mhm.
And yeah, then she had the idea to start an all women's promotion, and obviously I was really excited about that. There's been other all women's promotions, but a lot of the time they're run by men, or it's
Right.
just like they're really good and then something happens and you know they're gone. So it was exciting to have something that really had like a lot of thought put into it already, was very consistent. Like
Hmm.
Missy knew her entire schedule. She wanted like for the whole year right when
Right.
she started setting stuff up. I like the every 2 month show model.
Hmm.
She's just got some really solid concepts of what she wants, and it was really exciting to be able to support that vision.
Now,
Hmm.
speaking of Missy, we know that Missy's out there watching because
Yes.
she is absolutely singing the praises of
Oh,
Notorious
yes.
Mimi.
Oh, yes.
The greatest work ethic of anyone,
Anyone.
is always the toughest person in any room.
She's yeah. She's
I
a
appreciate
full
that.
supporter of the Notorious Mimi.
Yes.
But so what does that mean to you personally to have an all women's promotion right here in the Philadelphia, Jersey area?
It means that we really get a platform, because even though we're seeing, and it's very exciting, we're seeing like an improvement in the general booking of your average indie card within the context of women's wrestling. You know, a lot of
Mhm.
the time it's like we're starting to kick up to 2 women's matches on a card instead of 1, which,
Yeah.
while not insane progress, really does mean a lot. But having a platform like this, it's not everyone competing for one spot.
Right.
It's we're building a show together. And I think that having that ability to have like a collaborative effort among a room full of like all women's wrestlers is such a special, exciting thing that's very unique to Bell to Bell. Um, because it is like a lot of the time it feels like you're getting almost pitted against each other to get a very limited amount of spots. So
Yeah.
it's exciting to see like, no, we have a roster full, like we have a deep roster of really talented women. And it's been amazing to see what she's been able to put together in the past year and a half now.
Hmm.
Year
Absolutely.
now. Just a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just dude,
I mean,
brand
it's-
new. And last year was probably, I mean, obviously the biggest year because it was the first year, but you had so many great shows, so many
Mhm.
great
Yeah.
matches put on, so many great guest stars, if you will, as well. That
Yeah.
popped in, like Allison Kay popped in. That was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
So, speaking of Missy, talk a little bit about what your experience has been like working with Missy.
It's just been so exciting, and like it feels very much like we got our second wrestling parent kind of thing,
Right, right.
where it's like, okay, we've got the full factory family going now, and it's been really nice to see someone who, really worked for their spot in wrestling for many years get to have that position of power. It's been great.
Yeah.
And she does just she met so many people and has so many great names that she knows like how to bring in and stuff like that. So that's even like with bringing in Annie Social as the commissioner and stuff like that. It's been really cool to see a little bit of like even the earlier 2000s of wrestling
Yeah.
back again. It's cool.
Now, do you have maybe a favorite Bell to Bell match that you've had so far?
Yes. I want to be like, oh, I love them all equally, because
Right.
honestly, I've been really proud of a lot of my body of work there.
Mhm.
It's been a good run. However, I think my match with Lena Cross is like my favorite
At the
match
end,
I've
that's
ever
exactly
had.
what Missy
Yeah.
said.
Yes.
Exactly what Missy just said.
Amazing. Match of the year.
Yeah, it's my favorite match I've ever had anywhere. So it's got to be my favorite Bell to Bell match too. It was really fun to work with someone who I had to like look up at. I love having
Right.
I love getting out hossed every once in a while. And she was just super cool and is so talented. We had a great time together. It was really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so this is something that we always ask, and it usually makes me feel pretty bad
Right.
whenever I hear the answer, because it means that I'm old. But what would you say? Now, you told us about your sister, and you told us about the
Yeah.
Roman Reigns
Right,
connection.
right.
Yeah.
So, what is your earliest memory of pro wrestling?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know
Oh,
it's
dear.
I know it's coming.
Yeah.
It doesn't even mean you guys are
coming.
old. It just means I started watching wrestling
No.
really late.
Oh,
Okay.
it means I'm old. Go
I
ahead.
started watching wrestling really late. We're prefacing it with that, all right?
Okay,
Everyone,
okay.
we've established that.
Got it.
The first thing I remember about wrestling was watching the 2016 Royal Rumble.
Oh my god.
Sorry. Sorry to everyone.
Jeez.
I didn't know what
Oh, man.
wrestling
Okay.
was
That's all right.
until then. Like,
Late
I
bloomer.
don't know.
Late bloomer here.
In my defense,
Okay.
and people are always a little surprised by this. Horse girl here. I grew up on a farm. I didn't really like
Oh,
even
okay.
watch TV like that.
Right.
You know, like as a kid.
Sure.
So it's not like I was just like skipping over wrestling when I was flipping through the channels. It's just like something that I wasn't really exposed to. But then, you know, unlimited internet access, you get free time on YouTube and you
There
come
you go.
across everything. And
Yeah.
that's how we ended up here.
Right. Now, during that short time, was there ever a time where you kind of phased out a little bit of wrestling, or were you just 2016 and on, you were just sticking to it?
2016 on, I was just sticking to it. I saw it, I was locked in, you know.
Mhm.
I feel like I watch a little less now just because I spend so much time doing it.
Right.
Sure.
I try to, like, whenever there's a big Saturday show, whether it's like a AEW pay-per-view or a PLE or something, I'll try to watch it just because I like to keep up. And then like I'll probably catch one weekly show a week, but it's random which one it is. And I just it's amazing how much wrestling there is. But if you
Yeah.
are also being a wrestler, you can't keep up with all of it. Like
I'm
to
sure.
the
Look,
T.
even for people who aren't wrestlers, it's impossible to
lot
keep
of
up with
wrestling,
all the
yeah.
content out there. It's
Yeah.
just insane.
It's awesome
Now-
because it means there's something for everyone, but at the same time, it's like I can't be
It's
everyone for everything because I can't
saturated.
watch all of this.
Saturated.
Yeah.
Now, as a wrestler, is it hard to watch wrestling now without constantly critiquing or saying, "Oh, I can do that," or maybe I can do this, or do you watch it still as a fan?
I don't find myself like constantly critiquing per se, but I definitely do the, oh, I could do that or I could do this, like taking from it. But I don't think it necessarily like impedes on my ability to enjoy it as a fan. It's just like they've kind of merged together a little
Right.
bit.
We've talked to some wrestlers, i.e., Danny Rowe
Yeah.
from March Wrestling, about, and he literally said, "A fan? Like,
Yeah.
what's that?" Like
Yeah.
he's so used
Yeah.
to like being a coach and like doing his thing that
Yeah.
he can't
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Like the fan side is just completely off, and he can only watch as a critiquer. And
Yeah.
watch it like critiquing everything and seeing what we can do better. So like there are people out there that the fan side is just completely
Yeah.
stripped away from
Yeah.
because they're a wrestler and they've been in it for so long.
I do my best to keep in touch with that side because I think it can educate you a lot more on what you actually should be doing or what's
Right.
actually important. Because I think a lot of the time, if you really let yourself just watch as a wrestler, you can get a little too into like the technicalities
Right.
of stuff,
Mhm.
and then you kind of miss out on the emotion of it, which is what is wrestling really.
Mhm.
So I try to let myself just like take it in as a fan, see what calls to you, and then be like, okay,
Sure.
so now how can I implement this
Right.
after that?
All right. So you mentioned growing up on a horse farm. And we're going to get to that
Yes.
in a minute, but we have to ask you because we were talking about this off the air, but
Yes.
we want to, talk about it here as well and add you to the growing list because
Right.
we have to ask
The
everybody.
growing list, right?
In your wrestling, well, in your life, in your wrestling travels, have
Yeah.
you ever seen a moose in the wild, like a live moose?
I, Notorious Mimi, also known as Amelia Herb, have never seen a moose. And that includes, I have wrestled in Canada, I have wrestled in Maine, I have
Mhm.
wrestled all over New England. No meese.
No moose.
No meese.
No
No
moose.
meese.
No meats.
No
No
moose
No
and no
meese,
meese.
no meese.
No
Wow.
moose, no meese, none of it.
All right. Okay.
But
so-
adding on to that,
Yes.
there's
Oh,
another
yes, there
myth
is.
that we
Oh,
just
yeah,
discovered thanks
I had
to
to educate them.
thanks to
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't know
Mimi.
about
We didn't
this.
know about this myth, but apparently
anyone was
a lot of
unaware.
people don't think that Wyoming is a real place.
You just had to be there. It was
I
like an
didn't-
internet thing in
I
2020.
didn't know. I didn't know.
I
I don't know who started it or why everyone decided it, but it was like, okay, name one person you know who's from Wyoming. People
Eric
go
Bischoff.
to Wyoming. Okay,
No, he
but, like,
claimed. We
Is
don't
Eric
know for
Bischoff
sure.
real?
He claims.
Listen,
Who
it's
knows?
called a green screen. You can make yourself
right,
anywhere.
Right.
you can
know?
say
never
you
know.
live anywhere. Yeah.
You can say you live anywhere.
Yeah.
Why
All
are
right.
these
So
not?
you're definitely on the no moose side as well.
No
So that's
moose
good to
strain.
know.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
meese.
So talk a little bit about growing up on a horse farm. That's really interesting. Were you into horses? Did you ride? Are you still into horses?
I did ride. I don't
Mhm.
anymore.
Mhm.
And I always joke that it's like how I learned how to take bumps.
Right.
Because you think bumping in a wrestling ring, like with a human weight opponent, is bad. You get thrown around by an 1,000-pound horse and stepped
Yeah, that's
on,
it.
and suddenly,
Done.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also probably part of what made my parents like more chill about the transition to wrestling. 'Cause
Right, because you're used to it,
it's a
basically.
dangerous thing
Yeah.
if you're just coming out of nowhere, but because I was riding horses before that, it's like actually slightly safer, probably.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Which is
Just a
insane.
little bit.
I get more like minor injuries, but it's less life threatening, I think. So
Right, yeah,
Makes
of
sense.
course.
probably a positive transition.
Yeah,
But
going
yeah,
from horse
I
riding to
loved
yeah.
it. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a very unique background to have, but it makes random things much easier or much harder. I tried to learn how to snowboard recently.
Oh.
That is a bad combination with growing up riding horses. This is such a weird thing to have,
Yeah.
but specifically, like, when you're going downhill on a horse, you're supposed to lean back because it helps, like, counterbalance them, and when you're snowboarding, you're supposed to, like, lean into the hill with it, and I'm like, "This feels so wrong." Also,
Mhm.
should not be snowboarding while also wrestling. Too
Yeah, it's
many
probably a
dangerous
bad
things at once.
combination of
But
things,
it
you
was
know.
so fun!
Speaking of fun, we have to ask, and thank you, Missy, for
Here
shouting it
comes.
out.
Yes.
You have this weird attraction at the Monster Factory to a wall. Can you
I don't know what you're
explain
talking about.
your fascination with the wall?
She's in denial.
I don't know what you're talking about. Me and the wall are just friends.
No, wait, hang on. It doesn't seem like
Yeah,
you
she
and,
said
no,
her
it
attraction
doesn't
to the
seem
wall.
like you and the wall are just friends.
Right.
So
It's a little bit
it
more than
started
that.
out very, very calm and normal. It was literally just like one time in 2019. I was like, this be a funny cutoff. So I had someone throw me into the wall. No one ever did it because they were worried about breaking the wall
Of
and then
course.
getting yelled at. Because listen, I love the Monster Factory and I love our building, and we don't own the building, right?
Right.
Like it's owned by someone else, and then
Mm.
Dan rents like the time we have for it.
Right.
So we don't want to break the building.
No.
But I was like, I'm not gonna break the building. It's gonna be fine. And you know
Yeah.
what? It was fine. So then I did it again.
And again. And
Well,
again.
then I forgot about it for a while. You know,
Oh, yeah.
COVID happened, whatever. I hadn't
Mhm.
done the spot in a bit. And then I don't know, something about it's specifically been since I came back in like 2023. The wall is just my friend.
Mhm.
I mean,
It just keeps happening.
I will
Yeah.
admit it's kind of cool that like Monster Factory has its own like special thing. You know, there's tables,
Yeah.
there's ladders, there's chairs. You have a wall.
The wall. It's
Yeah.
not Monster
The-
Factory's wall. It's my
It's
wall.
exactly,
right.
yeah,
See,
right.
we have-
It's me. You heard it.
We have
It's
Mimi to thank
Mimi's
for that.
wall.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
You guys at Monster should christen it Mimi's wall.
Yeah,
Then
it
it's
needs
Yeah,
like a
done.
little,
there's
needs like a little
there's been a
plaque.
joke that they're gonna put like a chalk outline of me like
Yes,
sideways
yes,
on it, like the
yes.
crime scene
Little-
outline. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was here, like on
Yeah.
the wall.
That's
Now,
awesome.
Stepping away from the Monster Factory real quick.
Yeah.
You have recently became a belt collector of sorts.
Yes.
Not only do you have the 1CW Women's Championship, but you just recently won the remarkable Women's Championship. What does that mean to you when all these different promotions trust in you to be their top champion?
First important note, I am also the BCW Women's
Yeah,
Champion. I've
3
got
belts.
3.
That's 3 belts.
Oh,
Woo!
Mimi, 3
It's-
belts.
That's
It's
right.
been really
That's right.
exciting. I went the entirety of 2024 almost like until December without winning a singles title. Which doesn't bother me, you know, it's
Right.
fun to go around and challenge for a bunch of stuff, but it definitely is helpful, especially when there's things like PWI that rank partly based on your like, you know, like achievements that are concrete, your concrete
Right.
accomplishments in a year. So being able to really represent a company and hold their belt and help them advertise like their big championship matches and stuff like
Right.
that, it's really an honor to be able to do it for even one company. So being able to do it for 3 at the same time has been very exciting. It's been a while since I've had a belt collector era, so we're back at it.
This is the
Yeah.
era of Mimi
Yeah.
3 belts, as you
Yeah,
said.
Mimi
Mimi 3
3
belts.
belts. I love it.
Precisely.
So kind of sticking with the theme of outside the Monster Factory a little bit.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about your time in NXT and maybe what that experience was like for you there.
Yeah, of course. I went down in early 2022 and I was there until Halloween. And it is so cool. Like, obviously, I wish I was there longer.
Right.
But getting to basically attend what I would think like it's the best thing I can compare it to is like it's like you're going to wrestling college.
Yeah.
Or like your 9 to 5 is literally being a wrestler because I would show up at the PC at like normally like 8:30 in the morning, and
Oh,
then
wow.
I would go home for lunch, but I'd be there usually either until 5 or until like 8.
Jeez.
On
Wow.
non-TV days. And then obviously on TV days it's more of like a noon to midnight type thing. But like you really get to just work and learn, and it was very cool to be able to just be surrounded by that much wrestling and really put my head down and be able to do that. Of course, I wish I was able to do more as far as like on the actual programming.
Right.
But even just being able to see like the behind the scenes of how that type of stuff works, like
Yeah.
they have what they call the truck, which is just like their production area, and you would be able to go in and like put on the headphones they have
Oh,
where they're like
nice.
talking to each other and watch the production process and
Oh,
stuff like
wow.
that. And it's cool to be able to learn like the other aspects of wrestling like that at like a higher level, because we have like production, on the indies,
Yeah,
but normally it's either outsourced to a talented company who's like they know what they're doing. Now we'll just leave them alone like GoPro.
Right.
Or it's, one person sitting backstage operating like the switcher and the music and this, that, the third by themselves. And it's like, I'm not going to ask you to explain all this while you're doing it. You're already
Right.
handling 6 things at once. So it was cool to be able to like sit back and observe a room full of people whose job is to like put together a television show. It was very interesting.
Now, did you get to pick your name, or they just threw that name at you?
So you get to kind of have suggestions. So they had me
Mhm.
send in a list of 10 first names and 10 last names. And then
Mhm.
they sent back like I think 3 combos, and then we went from there.
So now, how did you come up with the Sloan and then the Jacobs part with your list of names?
I was just pulling from all over the place. It was like books I'd read, references to like shows,
Mhm.
names that I thought just sounded like they could fit me. It was a little bit of everything. I know people have opinions about the NXT naming process. We're aware. I have Twitter too.
Right.
And I get it, but also it's like at the same time, I don't know what people expect people's wrestling names to sound
Right.
like, because there's been so many wrestlers and you don't want to be like, you don't want to have the same name as someone who came before
Yeah.
you. So I don't know. I'm a fan of some of the name generator sounding
Right.
names that people don't like, but
Yeah.
I get that it's not for everyone.
So when someone comes from like an independent background and they come into NXT, what is it like putting together like your presentation, like your look? Do they kind of take what you've already done and go with that, or how does that process work?
I'll say, to be fair, I never really had like a solidified character, so I
Mhm.
can't that while I was there, so I can't speak to what the entire process would be like.
Yeah.
I know they didn't have me keep a lot of my stuff from the indies. Like, obviously, you don't keep your name because there's
Yeah.
like copyright concerns with that. So it's
Mhm.
like all my gear that has my name written on it somewhere I wasn't wearing.
Right.
I brought
Yeah.
the angel wings down just in case. I took like one set because they have you do like photo shoots with the stuff that you bring
Mhm.
in. I took pictures with them. They didn't end up using them. I think it's just like if your gimmick that you come down with fits into something they want already, they'll keep you with it. And if it doesn't, then they'll just separate you from it and be like, all right, let's figure out something different.
Right. So now, how did you come up with the whole angel idea with the angel wings and the whole gimmick like that?
It started off of literally just a Halloween costume.
Oh, okay.
In 2019, I think ironically, because we wrestle forever, Gabby and I had a match.
Right.
And it was like a Halloween themed show. And I was like, well, I want to come out in something kind of costumey. Ooh, an angel could be cute. So I just had like little angel wings and a white set of gear. And people really liked them. They're like, I don't think I've really seen anyone come out with something like this. This would be cool. So the wings just kept getting bigger, and it morphed into more of a gimmick and less of a costume. Like it's something that's part of the character. Because at that point, I was just kind of a wrestler without a character. So it was nice to be able to just build on something that happened naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
But now you've also been in MLW, AEW, ROH.
Yeah.
What has been your biggest takeaway getting to work with all these different promotions over the years?
Biggest takeaway? That you have to have a lot of confidence in yourself, I think. Because the more you feel like you're ready for something, and obviously that confidence can't be unfounded. You have to go put in the work and train and have the experience from the indies where you feel like you know what you're doing when you go somewhere that's a larger scale. But like I wish I had a little bit more of that when I went to the PC. I was not even 20 yet the whole time I was there. And I think I was still like a little tentative or a little cautious, where I was more worried about messing up. And I think you have to, entertainment is, people want to remember something, and you can't be afraid to take risks while trying to make something that people remember and care about and feel emotionally connected to. So I think that that's been something that I've kind of just been learning over time, and really something I feel like I'm still learning as I go.
Yeah.
So along those lines, obviously, having been in the business for a while, what would you say is the best thing about being a professional wrestler, and maybe what might be the most challenging thing?
I love so much about wrestling. I'm not gonna lie. There's like so many aspects of it, which it makes me really happy to be able to say that, because I know a lot of people, feel more disillusioned with it over time as they go.
Right. Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about it is like meeting the young fans at shows. Probably that's got to be a highlight. Really Bell to Bell is great for that. You'll meet so many like younger girls who come out, and it's so cute to have like a little 6-year-old be like, I bought your shirt, and I'm like, thank you, that's awesome, I hope you had the best time. And they're just like little and shy and quiet, but you can tell they like love it. So that's definitely always a highlight. I also love like being able to find a close-knit group of people to like travel with. We're also wrestling fans. Like we just all get each other, because we're this weird combination of like jocks and nerds all at once, because who likes wrestling that isn't a little bit weird? But also we're so massive, so it's like it's we all get each other. And I also just love the actual essence of wrestling, which is, I've always talked to people about, like, I am a girly girl, but I also like am very physical and like felt a little bit more of the tomboy bit. So it's the perfect combination of like, oh, I get to go do my makeup and my nails and pick out my gear and make sure it's the right colors, and also I'm gonna beat you up,
There it is.
And I just think that's such a beautiful combination, where I get to get all pretty and then I get to sweat it all off, and it's so much fun. As far as the most challenging, I'm not a networking girly.
Okay, gotcha.
I like talking to the people I know, or talking to someone just because I want to have a conversation with them. Unfortunately, as is true in all of entertainment, you gotta go talk to 18 random people that you don't know. And I'm like, I feel not genuine if I'm just going to go over and talk to someone because you're supposed to network. Like, I don't do that. I talk to people because I want to talk to them, and then I mind my business. But I feel like there definitely is a little bit of that expectation in wrestling. It's not bad. It's just an adjustment for me.
Right. Now, being at the Monster Factory and by proxy Bell to Bell, there's so much more that you learn how to do other than just the wrestling aspect of things. Do you have maybe a favorite thing that you've learned or that you like to do that's not specifically in the ring?
It's not. Well, normally promos are in ring too. I've become more of a promo fan as time is going on. I definitely, like, when I came into wrestling, was much more comfortable with the in-ring and uncomfortable with the promos. But as I've felt more solidified in a character and also just more comfortable, you know, holding a microphone in front of a crowd, it's been fun. I've become a promo fan. But outside of all of that, I think probably, like, the production side of it is the most interesting to me. Uh, the we have, like, a switcher backstage, so you have to make sure you're getting, like, the right camera shots and stuff like that. That's all very cool. We have a person who does, like, our lighting, who comes in, Brian Waters. His stuff looks fantastic. You always know it's gonna be a good picture day, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Also, the ringside photographers, you know, do a fantastic job, and that really matters to everyone because it's like the promotional content that the actual, you know, wrestling company can post comes from them, and then like the stuff the wrestlers are able to promote themselves with. There's so many, you know, aspects of wrestling that are not wrestlers. Shout out to the refs. Y'all do great. I have tried to ref before. I am terrible at it.
Not good.
I get so distracted by being like, oh, this match is really good. Why is no one counting?
I should probably pin.
Why is the ref not counting the pinfall right now? Oh, I'm the ref.
It's me. I'm the referee.
Yeah. I don't know how they stay locked in like that, but mad respect to them, especially because they have to go, like, a lot of the time either back out there over and over and over again, or they just stay out there the whole show, you know, and ref every match. And that's some serious work.
Now, what about booking matches? Are you big into booking matches as well?
We heard a rumor, and I won't say who it came from, but there's a rumor going around that you have some pretty good booking ideas too. And I know I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here, but
you know, I like pitching ideas, but I would never want to have to be in charge of telling everyone what they're gonna do in a day. Respect to Missy, because that seems stressful. I've watched her have to balance, you know, a lot of on the fly changes throughout a day where it's like, oh, this person's sick, this person got hurt, they canceled,
right.
Or like, oh, they're here, but they feel like they can't go as long as they're supposed, you know, like just a lot of different things changing, and you have to be able to like balance a lot of that. And I feel like if you're on the card, I don't know how people who promote also wrestle on the same card, because that seems like so much to juggle in your head.
Yeah.
However, I do think that, like, in an ideal world for me, when I'm done wrestling, I would want an agent or produce, not book, because I have some good ideas, but that's a lot. You gotta have like a lot flowing at all times. But agenting matches and like coaching seems like so much fun. And I love, that's like the ideas that are really fun to me. So I'm like, oh, then you could do this thing and then this bit with the crowd and like things that make sense for a specific person. I just always think it's so fun to help someone else like come up with a move set or put a match together.
Right.
Yeah. We heard, again, not throwing anybody under the bus, but we heard that you do not usually pitch ideas for yourself. You're pitching ideas for other people.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get stuff, I get stuff, but I think there's definitely a tendency for people to like pitch storylines where it's like, and then I win.
Right.
And then it's so cool and so awesome, and then I win again.
Right.
And I just, that's not, you know, if everyone's pitching that, then what are we doing? Who's winning?
Right.
So I think it's more interesting to, if there's a match I really want to have, I'll pitch something where it's like, okay, and then we build to this. But for the most part, I think it's just fun to be like, okay, this person's character would interact with this person's character this way, or like, oh, these two people could work well as a tag team together, you know, stuff like that. And also I appreciate that I'm lucky enough that I normally don't have to like beg for a good spot on the card or like insist upon it. I'm normally just lucky enough to be put in a good spot.
Right.
So I would rather use my voice to try to be like, hey, this person, you know, seems ready for a bigger role or like a longer match or something like that. To me, that's more important than being like, and then I should win again, you know?
I'm number one.
Yeah.
All about me.
We have a question here from one of our esteemed listeners.
Okay.
This is a very interesting
Very
question. I
interesting
saw this
question.
and I thought this is something, and I don't know why I don't think of these things.
I know,
'cause-
same.
but
so,
yes.
do you prefer gimmick matches or traditional matches, i.e., four corners, items of the ring, etc.?
Yes. Very good.
Well, I
question.
can't give away too much with this
Uh-oh.
answer,
Oh.
but I happen to know that I'm gonna have another something gimmick match in my near future.
Okay.
And I'm really, really excited about that. But I'll refer to the ones I've had in the past instead. I gotta say, I love a gimmick match. I got to have 2 tag team Fatal 4-Way Texas Tornado street fights last year at the
wow.
Monster
Jesus.
Factory.
That's a mouthful.
So fun. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really proud of myself for remembering all of that. You see
that
how
was a
smooth
long
I did
name.
that?
That was
I
a
didn't
long
even
name.
stumble.
Good. That's
But
good.
yeah, I had so much fun doing those because it was just crazy shit. Sorry if I can't curse.
No, you're
No,
fine.
go for it. Yeah.
It was
they're all
just
good.
crazy shit. The whole like we went
I will
like
preface it
20
with-
or 20 to 40 minutes in both of them.
Oh,
I went through a
yes.
door. It was so fun.
Oh,
I got
right.
thrown over the curtains in the back off a ladder. We did
Jesus.
Wow. Yeah.
crazy things. It was so fun. I love
Yeah.
a chance to be like, I can hang, and I'm crazy because I love a bad bump. If we couldn't tell by the wall bit, I love
Yeah.
a bad
I was
bump.
saying the wall bit kind of gave it away.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
So we do have a rule on this show, and I think it's important now that we bring it up.
no,
And
we
the
should
rule
preface it.
that you are okay to curse on this show as long as you don't curse more than Danny does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
I'm good.
now
I made it through 36 minutes without
Right.
cursing. I could
You're
curse
good.
the whole
We're
rest
good.
of this
We're
episode and I'd
During-
be good.
during the episode that we had with Danny, he waited for a while and then he asked, and we were like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine."
And then it was
And
over.
then
So
I have heard more in that single episode than I think I heard in my entire life. Like it
Yeah.
was because
That
he
tracks.
gets very passionate,
yes,
but when he gets
very
passionate,
person, yeah.
like there's passionate language that comes along with it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's funny.
you're good.
Okay,
So-
perfect.
What are some of your long-term goals that you would like to accomplish in the world of wrestling, and what are some of your short-term goals that you like to accomplish in wrestling?
So I have a lot less concrete goals
Okay.
now
Okay.
than I did, say, like 3 or 4 years ago.
Mhm.
Because getting signed and then getting let go kind of
Right.
reset what I was looking for wrestling.
Yeah.
Because for the whole time before that, I was very one-track mind. You know, I want to get a contract. I want to be on TV.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I did that. It didn't pan out long term, but I did technically accomplish it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like, what are we looking for now? And so yeah, now for me, it's kind of more just about like having a body of work that I'm really proud of.
Mhm.
And a lot of that is just like being able to have matches with other people where they're like, hey, this is my favorite match I've had so far. That really like means more to me than almost anything, is like having someone else's best match that they've had.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure, you know, that's something for everyone. Shout out to Lena. I'm sure she's like, I had her best match. Cool.
yeah.
Being able to do something like that means a lot. Being able to just like have matches that I feel good about. One of my goals for like this year, I made a couple for 2025, but the only real like wrestling related one was just, I want to have 10 matches where I get back and I was like, that was perfect. No notes. I had a great time. I feel fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
Ironically, I've had, I think, only one of them so far where I was like, phenomenal.
Mhm.
Chef's kiss. It was a training match. No one recorded it.
Hey.
Shout out
It's all
Sebastian Valentino. I love you, twin. My
Ah.
wrestling son.
Mhm.
I waited 7 years to have a wrestling
7
child.
years.
Most
Woo.
people, you know, most people adopt someone in wrestling pretty early on.
Right.
I couldn't find someone, but my wrestling child / wrestling soulmate, Sebastian Valentino, who is also a diehard Sasha Banks fan, he gets it. He gets
Oh
me.
boy.
He gets me.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
you mentioned Sasha Banks, but are you also a big Mercedes Moné fan?
Yes,
Ooh.
absolutely.
Okay.
To me, it's just like, because I started watching in 2016, that's like what's conditioned into my head to refer to
Mhm.
her as. But Mercedes Moné goes crazy. That match with Harley Cameron last night was
It
fantastic.
was pretty good. Yeah.
It gave everyone exactly what they needed.
Mhm.
So fun.
Not to get off the Sasha Banks train, because I think we should talk about that a little bit. But somebody happens to be watching the show today.
I
Look who it
love
is.
you, to Brandon.
Hey, shout out to Sebastian. All right.
Oh, that's great.
No, I think that you know, I think that Mercedes got a bad rap in AEW. I think that you know, a lot of fans were very harsh on her from the beginning. I think a lot of it was how they portrayed her, and they really took a long time until they really started using her in the ring, and I think that kind of rubbed people the wrong way. But I mean, she's had some really phenomenal matches.
Talk about a good
in
body
AEW.
of work.
Yeah. So I think people were just a little unfairly harsh on her.
Right.
You know, when you step back and you take a look at it, and you know, you say, I mean, she's, you know, better than 90% of the people out there.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's not something that's unfamiliar to her, you know, as people jumping really quick to be critical.
Right.
But I think anyone who's even paid a little bit of attention and stuck around for this long has been silenced. She's just a great, you know, worker, great storyteller. Her opponents look better for being in the ring with her, and what more can you ask for, you know?
Right. Now we have another, again, great question from our listener here, Elvis. Elvis, good question. Shout out to you, sir. But he asks, do you have a preference of either getting major titles or just having a character that lives on?
Having a character that lives on, absolutely. Because you can always do something with that. Even an insanely long title reign does not last forever.
Right.
And really, most good title reigns are not gonna go insanely long. You know, we're starting to kick up where it's like the 1,000-day bit, you know, you never know what can happen. However, you know, more often than not, a title reign is pretty brief. Especially like in the scope of someone's full wrestling career. But having a character that really connects with people can span across plenty of title reigns, no title reigns. It doesn't matter. It's like, if the character eats, if the character is something that people see themselves in, then that's so much more fun. And also it leads to some much more interesting stories than just like, oh, I want title, you know?
Right.
Where it's like, this makes for a better promo, it makes for a better build, it makes for a better match, all of it, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, so now we're going to get to the really tough questions here. So, you know, the softballs are done. It's time for the really tough questions. So, in addition to everything that you've got going on, wrestling, all these things. What kind of hobbies and things do you enjoy doing outside of the ring?
If you have time.
I love this question. We were me and my friends who wrestle at the Monster Factory, who wrestle on TRLs, which are on Fridays. We go get food after a lot of the time. And we were talking about the fact that you need to have something that has nothing to do with wrestling that you like. So I enjoy painting. I'm not very good at it. But you don't have to be. It's a hobby. That's the beauty of it. I'm a big fan of touching grass, which means going outside for the youth these days.
for
touch grass.
No, I'm thinking to myself, like, she's really like, this is a hobby of hers, like touching different blades of grass.
Go outside.
All right.
Like I go on decently long hikes, you know, go on a walk, just see the outdoors. It's good for you. And just that is honestly probably part of what's a bummer to me about wrestling is so much of it is indoors. I like seeing the sunlight every once in a while. And then I don't know, I occasionally will hop on a Fortnite game. Also shout out to Sebastian Valentino and Mike Z, my Fortnite squad.
Wow.
Yeah, squad. All right.
I mean, a trio right now. We're trying to convince Isaac Taylor to get back on Fortnite. But
Isaac Taylor, you're being called out.
You might have to ask
the
whole Pete's Posse if they can let Isaac free from Pete's Posse to do Fortnite.
Just for one day. Just for one
day.
I promise.
One day. That's all we're asking.
So yeah, I do a little bit of everything, but I definitely also, you know, collecting the vinyls has been very fun.
Oh, very nice.
I'm doing something. I've kept to it so far, which is crazy because it is February 16th, where I have listened to a new album every day this year.
Oh wow,
that's
cool
Idea.
impressive. Yeah,
my head kind of hurts, but it's been really interesting. So yeah, I've just been enjoying music, stuff like that, and then that's kind of the whole lineup right now. If I have time, sometimes I'll pick up something else, but that's the hobby lineup at the moment. Oh, also lifting, but that has a lot to do with wrestling.
Right.
That has a lot to do with wrestling, so that doesn't count.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So, do you have a favorite record that you own?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm gonna say "Happier Than Ever" by Billie Eilish, specifically because it is an actually gorgeous physical vinyl. It's like that pretty, like, kind of tannish color is the whole vinyl, and then the center is, like, the same color blue that her eyes are, which is on the album cover, and it is so pretty.
That's impressive.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, big fan.
So, you play Fortnite. Is that the only video gaming that you do?
More or less. I'm not the largest of gamers. Once again, the whole, like, being chronically offline and outside growing up bit, like, I didn't use a controller until after COVID, so I had a lot to catch up on.
Right.
I've been considering playing Red Dead just because people keep talking about how good it is, and I know people love, you know, a good story game. I know a lot of video game lore because I watched a lot of other people playing games on YouTube my whole life, but I have not played that many games. So, you know, maybe I'll catch up. I'm looking for recommendations. So let me know.
Yeah, anything Final Fantasy is good.
Right.
Final Fantasy 14 Online is an amazing game, but you've got to have enough time to put into it.
I
used to play where there was a group of us that would get together on Saturdays and play. But you gotta have so much anything online like that. You gotta have such a time commitment to do anything with it. But
I'm taking 2 accelerated, like, 7-week courses right now, so I'm in the trenches, but I do not have time. But I do not have this time.
Well, speaking about your hobbies here, we're just going to throw this out there because there was a little request made. An original painting.
Yeah. You might have to bring out the paints for that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I have anything near me. I'll see if I can, you know, draw something up for the next time.
Right. For the next show. Right.
Precisely.
All right. So this may be a bit of a loaded question or a tough question to answer, but in your estimation, what would you say the future holds for Notorious Mimi?
You know, I think I'm going to be where I am for a little bit. And it took me a while to think that was probably the case and be cool with that, but I'm cool with that. However, I think even though it's down the road, I do think we'll see a major return to a television company at some point, and that's kind of like one of my concrete goals is to, like, be able to put a TV character, TV product on that I feel more fully represents what I can do as a wrestler. Not because I wasn't, like, given the chance to do that necessarily, but just because I'm not sure I was ready the first time around that I got an opportunity to do something like that. And that's why I'm okay with the fact that it might take a while to get back to that point again. But I think at some point in my career, I'm young, I can take a beating.
You have so much time left, much time left to do so many things.
I think we'll see a big TV return at some point.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that is going to bring us to our final question of the interview. So, Sean, why don't you take it away?
We're talking about hard questions and, like, kind of thought provokers. This is going to be softballs are out of the way. They're done. They're in the garbage. So, what does pro wrestling mean to you personally, and what is the significance that it has had on your life as a whole?
I think we almost already touched on the, like, what does it mean to me personally, which is I feel like I get to express the 2, like, very different sides of my personality.
Right.
And I don't know if y'all have seen the inside you there are 2 wolves memes, but inside me there are 2 wolves. I want to get really pretty and fancy and girly pop, and then also I want to go beat someone up. And wrestling lets me express both of those at the same time. So I think that has meant a lot to me personally, getting to see just, like, how much I can contribute to a room has been very valuable. Getting to the point where I feel confident enough to lead and stuff too, because, you know, when you start wrestling when you're 15, it's like you're still kind of learning how to trust yourself as a person to, like, take charge of stuff. So being able to really feel confident in something that I'm putting together, I'm leading, has meant a lot to me. And then there was a second part of this question.
What's the significance that wrestling has had on your life?
I mean, it's been my life more or less for the past like 7 years. I grew up on it. You know, my later teenage and early 20s have been formed on it and around it. It's given me some fantastic opportunities to see places that just like you have no good reason to go. Otherwise, I've gotten to do a lot of traveling that has been really fun to just see more of the world, and meet people that I really probably wouldn't have met otherwise because, you know, you grow up on a little farm, you're very much in like a small bubble, and wrestling is so the opposite of that. So it's really just like opened up my world a lot more.
Awesome. Well, we hope you have enjoyed this little conversation where we got to know a little bit more about Mimi. But now it is time for our main event, top 5 list. The meat of it all here. Let's get right to it. So, Sean, what are we doing today? What do we got?
Top 5 favorite albums.
Currently,
to hear.
This is important to me.
Currently,
top 5
favorite albums.
Because I can't pick top 5 favorite forever. That's too much.
Yeah,
I know number 1 is Melodrama by Lorde. Always.
Okay.
However,
wow. Okay.
We can't do top 5 of all time because I just can't.
Right.
I can't pick between all my children.
Well, now that you just blew the number 1 spot away, I guess we're doing
our
top 4.
That's my number 1 of all time. We're talking currently. It's
okay.
Nothing will ever beat that.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to number 5.
So I don't get honorable mention.
You have them.
Fantastic. Yes,
I get. We're going with just one honorable mention that I'm not doing too much. I've been listening to a lot of Think Later by Tate McRae because her new album is coming out in less than a week now. I'm very excited about that. We're getting the new Tate McRae in like 4 days.
Wow, okay.
Countdown is on.
Very excited. So close to what? I can't wait. You're gonna be there. That's the name of the next album. So that's my honorable mention.
Gotcha.
Sorry, Tate, you almost made it.
You were
so close, Queen. You were so close.
Yes, you are the Liv Morgan of this list. Liv Morgan was an honorable mention last week, and that was a disaster.
That was a disaster.
Yes.
Oh no, Liv.
Well, we felt bad, but we apologized like 50 times.
But it had to be done. Someone's got to be 6.
Somebody's got to be 6.
Right.
So number 5, I need workout music in here because how else am I supposed to get swole? I've got Las Ruinas by Rico Nasty. Rico Nasty, you are my workout music queen. She was my second most listened to artist in 2023, I think.
Oh wow.
And still, if I need to get massive, it's going on repeat.
Nice.
Then 4, this list would not be a list without mentioning my pop princess lookalike, who I can't post one thing on Instagram without getting a comparison to. Chappell Roan, I love you. So we've got Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess at number 4.
You know, now that you said that, I can see Chappell Roan immediately.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's on Instagram. You'll see
it's
it.
The hair. I did a Halloween costume as her.
Right.
Yeah,
saw that too.
Love her so much. Love her down. Her music is fantastic. Super ultra graphic modern girl, whatever the lineup is, so good.
Have you seen her live
Feminine Phenomenon, fantastic. No, I haven't. But she didn't have she hasn't had a tour in a while. She had a tour in I think it ended in early 24 or late 23. It's been a bit. If her tickets get easier to get, I'm there. I'm sad.
Right.
I'm sad. I'm ready, but not yet. And then at 3, we do still have Melodrama by Lorde on the list because it's always there. It's always somewhere.
Still on the list. Got it.
Classic wintry vibe also,
right.
We've been enjoying the very peaceful, but also I'm over dramatic as hell energy. Thank you, Lorde.
Is winter one of your favorite seasons?
This is such a pandering answer. If I'm I just love them all.
Right,
I just hope all the seasons have a great time together. But I don't know. There's some good times about all of it because I love when it snows specifically.
Right.
Winter is boring except when it's snowing, but when it's snowing, it hits so hard. Snow is fantastic. I was born in a blizzard. I love the snow. And then early spring, when you're starting to have the, oh wait, I actually am a happy person. I just
Right.
needed to see the sunlight.
Right.
That hits really hard too when you see like the first flower pop out of the ground and you're like, oh,
Right.
life is good. Love that. Love swimming in the summer. Love being outside all day, the really long days and like the really peaceful late nights. And then like fall is just so pretty. Everything's bright
Right.
orange. It matches my hair. The
Gotcha.
outfits eat. You know, like
Yeah.
there's something about all, and I love Halloween. So like there's
Oh,
something
there you
about
go.
every
Right.
season that just hits.
So here's a follow-up question, because this is what really gets me.
There you
So
go.
you say that you like snow. So
Yes.
do you have to shovel snow
Yes.
in your current situation? And you're still okay with snow even though you have to
I
shovel
got it. I'll be fine.
Wow.
You
there
got
will
over to that one.
there will be
It's
there
a
will
good
be listen,
workout.
there will be an address incoming where
Right.
there is some snow to shovel next time it snows, since you're over there with the big arms.
Right.
My
Bring them
driveway
big
is
arms over
also
here and shovel my
pretty
snow.
short now. My driveway is pretty short now, so my
Okay.
life is
I get it.
There
easier.
you go.
Yeah.
So it bothers me less. But I do shovel on my sidewalk too.
Okay.
Gotcha.
You know, it's okay. It's chill. It's chill.
Because mostly people that say they love snow don't
wanna
have to
shovel snow,
don't
right.
have to shovel
Right.
it.
They
They
don't
don't.
have to. Yeah.
I
They don't-
shovel my own snow.
That's right. That should be on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shovel my own snow. Number
All
2.
right, where were we? Okay, we're
Oh,
at
getting
2.
off track.
Anyone who said they don't like the Super Bowl performance is a fucking liar, or they're boring.
No.
Hot take.
Kendrick Lamar ate that up,
Oh,
and I was
great album,
already
too. Great
I
album.
already had GNX on repeat, but like
Yep.
now it's even more. Also, great album to work out to. I'm very much more about like the faster paced, like
Right.
more upbeat songs on it, more so are like the ones on
Yeah.
repeat. Like I've very much been like whacked out murals, TV off, squabble up like over and over and over again.
Mhm.
But Dodger Blue though.
It's
That's such a
so
great
pretty, but
song.
like if
Ugh.
I'm lifting, I need something
Right.
that's
They get
making me
something
move.
yeah, more
you
upbeat.
know?
I get it. I get it.
And then random pull for number 1,
Random pull?
Bright Future by Adrian Lenker. It's like a
Okay.
more indie album, but it is
Mhm.
so good. It's one of the ones that was on my like, okay, I have to go listen to this because I like did the full lineup and I was like, okay, I'm taking recommendations. And that got brought up probably like 3 times in my little Instagram, like what should I listen to next questions. And it was the second thing I listened to this year. So I listened to it on like the 2nd of January. And it's like, oh, I get it. This hits. So
Right.
that's been getting a lot of playing in my car.
All right.
All right. So 14 follow-up questions, each in 3 parts. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, perfect.
No, I'm kidding. So you had such a hot take on the Super Bowl halftime show. What was your take on Serena out there?
Oh my god, it was so fun.
So good. So good.
I love her so much.
yeah.
What a queen. What a queen. She's so good at everything she does.
Yeah.
I don't know
Right.
how anyone could hate to see Serena Williams.
All right. And on top of that, you may have to be having some words with someone, because Missy's like, I ain't lying.
It's not for you, I guess.
Oh
No.
shit, I ain't lying.
No,
boy.
Kendrick ate down. Kendrick ate down.
Yeah.
To be
Now-
fair, I think also like a lot of people's complaints were they couldn't hear some of what he was saying because like the audio was a little
I
off.
know. I heard it.
But
clear
when
as
you
day,
know
I know.
every single lyric,
Right.
Yeah,
it
there you
doesn't
go,
matter
see?
because you're already going
You're
at
already
it.
there,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I get
Now-
that, like, not for everyone. But
Going off
it was
of
for
this,
some people, and it was great.
right. Going off this list, do you have a favorite musical genre that you tend to lean more towards?
I feel like this is such like a cop-out answer and also everyone's
Uh-oh.
answer. But my bit is really just not country.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
There we
Exactly.
go.
That's
Yep,
the bit,
Yep.
you know.
Everything but country. That's
Because
all I say.
I can
Yep.
pop all around besides that. Like I love a good pop girly. I
Right.
love a good like indie 2014 Tumblr album.
Right.
I love a good rap album. I love a good rock album. But like just
But a
keep me
honky
away
tonk
from-
hoedown isn't for
Yeah.
you.
Honestly,
No
I
square
will
dancing.
I will
No,
say
no.
some like older rock albums even start to feel a little country to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah,
but
all that,
maybe
for
not.
the most
all
part,
that John
it's-
Denver you listen to.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is, man.
All that John Denver.
Waylon Jennings. I'm jamming out to Waylon Jennings at the gym.
Right.
But yeah, no, for the most part, I'm kind of all over the place.
That's fair though. I think these days you kind of have to be all over the place because there's so much good music coming from so many different places.
You're missing out on too much otherwise.
And when artists, and we were just talking about this earlier because we saw a picture of Post Malone, who's doing a Nirvana cover album with Travis Barker from Blink-182, and Post has been doing like country stuff lately. You can't like artists these days don't kind of shoehorn themselves into one musical genre anymore. They're kind of all over the place. So
Beyonce did the same thing. Beyonce did that country album, Cowboy Carter.
Yeah,
so, not that it's great, but Cowboy Carter.
I mean, it's country music, so it's not her fault. Beyonce is fantastic.
No, she's
That's
great.
Just country music.
Listen, that was just Cowboy Carter, not Cowboy Pete Carter.
Right,
Cowboy
Carter. Cowboy Carter. That's not Pete related.
No.
Not Pete related.
I told him about that. I can't remember if he already knew. I was like, so you're just named after the Beyonce album? Surely, right?
He was like, how dare you?
Yeah, right. How dare you?
How dare you?
My mother named me Pete Carter in 1982. Like,
that's right.
My bad, dog.
So, what is your current number one gym song right now? Right now.
Yeah, we'll get you going.
All right.
Most played gym song right now.
Right now, I don't know if I know what's most played at this exact. Can I give you like 2?
Sure, why not?
Give 2.
Okay, perfect. We're going Nissan Ultima by Doechii from Alligator Bites Don't Heal.
Great
also
album.
a fantastic album. And then I need a Meg song on here for sure.
Right.
What are we feeling? I'm gonna go just the classic Boa, Megan Thee Stallion.
Gotcha.
So good. Love you, Meg.
All right. Well, an amazing top 5 that went in all different directions, but very good top 5. Again, we always love the non-wrestling top 5.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it non-wrestling. We gotta
I love it.
People have heard me talk about wrestling enough. No one wants to hear that.
No, absolutely not. This is not even a show about wrestling. We don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
What's that wrestling nonsense?
Wait,
all right. So
wait. You don't have to answer now if you can't think of one.
Okay.
But I've only filled out until March what I'm listening to. I would like album recommendations.
Ooh.
Just one from each of you, maybe.
Just one from each of us.
For something I should listen to.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
All
right.
I'll have to bring out the phone person real quick.
Something you should listen to.
Something you should listen to.
Let's see.
Oh man.
Well, there's Hall & Oates.
Just go off the list. The whole list.
Yeah. There's. All right.
Okay. Go.
Yep, I got one.
You go first.
Because listen, I'm going to see them in concert in September. I am fulfilling a bucket list item. Actually, so we're going to this music festival in Ocean City, Maryland, and there's like 40 or 50 bands. It's like a festival.
Awesome.
But I'm knocking 2 off the bucket list. One is Weezer because I've never seen them live. I'm super excited for Weezer.
Hell yeah.
But this one I'm super excited for because this is like top of my bucket list. Listen to Fashion Nugget by Cake.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm a huge Cake fan. Their lead singer has a rather baritone, soulful voice, and he's the bass player. So like it's got a very funky kind of bass vibe to it. I love Cake like no one else.
Okay, awesome. It's Cake Truther. Got it.
Yes, that's me.
So
Cake Truther.
Not sure if you're into like the more funky, groovy kind of vibe.
I am listening to everything. When I tell you like my range, I've listened to a David Bowie album.
Right.
I've listened to, like some people I've never heard of before. I went to some classic Lady Gaga. That was fantastic.
So
Fall Out Boy, we're everywhere.
I can't suggest just one album specifically, but just look up Chromeo.
Okay.
Chromeo.
Oh yeah, I think you've been.
I love them. They are from Canada. They are 2 MCs, but their music is just so funky, groovy, positive,
awesome,
mainly upbeat. So the gym would be up your alley. Yeah,
2 MCs and a microphone. All right.
So wonder why you like that.
Yes,
that's not what we are. 2 MCs and a microphone.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to take just a short momentary break while you check out this video, and when we come back, we are going to be talking upcoming events with Notorious Mimi.
Yeah.
All right, so you can check out all of the great bell to bell content currently on our YouTube channel, and make sure you stick around for next week, where we finish up Bell to Bell month with Big Daddy Adriana Mosley. We're super excited for that conversation as well. So that brings us to you, Mimi. What have you got coming up that you would like to highlight?
Champ.
Ooh, all right. I've got
Champs.
a busy March going. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull up my classic. I have one Google Drive, like one Google Drive document that is just called scheduling, and it has had every match that I have had to like write down since like 2018.
Wow.
It's all in one folder.
Awesome.
All right. So on the 22nd of February, we've got 1CW. I'm wrestling Adriana, who you have on
there. You go.
Yeah. Awesome.
For the 1CW Women's Championship. So that should be really fun. February 28th, I will be at the Kingswood School. Monster Factory is doing a special show there.
Yeah.
That should be very fun. March 2nd, I've got Focus Pro. So if any of the New England area people are listening, that's the next time I'll be up there with you guys. And then I'll be back up there again for March 9th for Blitzkrieg. March 8th, I'll be at the Monster Factory. I can't say what's going on, but it's gonna go crazy.
All right. Yeah.
And then we'll stop at the weekend after that, so I don't over promote too much. But I've got a busy weekend after that. The 14th, I'm at ISPW. The 15th, I'm at VPW, and then so we've got North Jersey and then New York, and then the 16th, I'm at BCW. So we're back in North Jersey again.
Man,
classic Ridgefield Park.
Yeah,
there's a stacked March
lots
right
of
there.
stuff going on. And
that's only the first half.
Yeah, that's a little bit. Jeez.
Right. Jeez.
So of course, you've seen the socials running along the bottom of the screen. You can make sure you are following Mimi on social media so you can see everything that she's doing, get all the latest updates. Sean, we have just a few things coming up, do we not?
Yes, we do.
So last night we were at Royalty Wrestling in Sellersville, PA for a great show, but we're coming back March 22nd. We're going to be in Paulsboro, New Jersey for Bell to Bell Wrestling. Ring the bell. We are super excited. We're going to be there. We're going to be there early. We're going to be talking to everybody, get some interviews, covering the show.
Talking to everybody.
Then the following day, we will be at the Old Pine Community Center in Philadelphia, PA for Sean Henderson Presents and Labor of Love Wrestle Cup 3. We are an official sponsor of Wrestle Cup 3. We're on the poster and everything, man. We're killing it. And then the following week, we'll be back in Philly again. And we're going to be at the Arlen Specter U.S. Squash Center for the debut of Power Pro Lucha.
I know, and we're sponsoring that too.
We're sponsoring that too. Good Lord, what are we doing?
I don't know.
Man, we're just sponsoring everything. Mimi, you got anything you need us to sponsor? Because we'll sponsor something.
Oh no, it'd be such a shame if someone paid for my next set of gear.
Oh, listen to that. Oh,
sponsor my fashion.
Wow. All right. Well, we will put that on the list of possible charitable donations.
I'll get an Opinion City podcast logo on the shoulder of it or something.
You know what? You might be onto something.
That might be good.
Yeah, you might be onto something. Hey, and don't forget, March 22nd at that amazing Bell to Bell Ring the Bell show. You're going to be there too.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're going to be there.
I stopped a weekend too early. I stopped halfway through my March. March 22nd.
We got
me and Gabby Ortiz gonna go crazy.
Yes,
sir.
Missy and I got you covered. Don't worry. All right. Well, this has been an incredible time getting a chance to sit down and talk with you. It has been a long time coming, but we are super excited that you could join us for Bell to Bell month. We appreciate your time. We had a lot of fun today.
Yes.
Very fun episode. So again, we appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck in everything you've got going on, because you have just got a stacked schedule. So good luck with all of that and all of the traveling and everything. And you are absolutely welcome here anytime on the show, especially after you get the gear with our logo on. When that happens.
Right in the local corner. Bam.
Yes. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Opinion City podcast for the Wrestling's Angel, the notorious Mimi herself. For Parmesan, I am King Ralph. And remember, kindness is free, so be kind to each other. God bless, and we will see you guys. So long.